2 knockdowns, a brutal beat down, and 4 simple words that ended a 35-year family war. Just let it lie. What happens when a boxing rivalry spanning over 3 decades finally gets its conclusion? When the son avenges not just his own loss, but his father's legacy. On November 15th, 2025, Conor Benn didn't just beat Chris Eubank Jr., he ended an entire era, and then he walked away. But here's the thing, nobody saw coming the winner's the one saying no to the trilogy. Let me explain why this might be the smartest move in boxing right now. Picture this, it's 1990, your dad steps into a ring to fight his biggest rival, he loses. 3 years later, they do it again. This time it's a draw, but most people think your dad got robbed. Now fast forward 35 years. You're a professional boxer. Your opponent, the son of the man who took everything from your father. That's the weight Conor Benn carried into not 1, but 2 fights with Chris Eubank Jr. The first fight in April, Benn lost. Unanimous decision, 116 to 112 across all 3 scorecards. But here's what the scorecards didn't show. Benn put Eubank in the hospital for 3 days. Think about that. He lost the fight but damaged his opponent so badly that Chris Jr. couldn't train until Wednesday. Meanwhile, Benn was back in the gym on Sunday. 7 months later, they sold out Tottenham Hotspur Stadium again. Over 60,000 people screaming. Both fathers in attendance, walking their sons to the ring, the ghosts of 1990 and 1993 hanging over everything. But this time something was different. The first fight, Benn fought with his heart, wild, reckless, emotional. He threw everything he had with no strategy, just pure rage fueled by 35 years of family history. The rematch, Benn fought with his brain. He used feints, head movement, footwork that made Eubank look like he was chasing a ghost. The kid who's supposed to be a natural welterweight at 147 pounds stepped up to 160, middleweight, and gave a boxing masterclass to a guy who'd been living there his whole career. And then came round 12. With about a minute left, Benn landed a perfect 1-2 combination. Down goes Eubank. First knockdown, the crowd erupts. Eubank gets up and you can see it in his eyes. He's done, but the bell hasn't saved him yet. Benn smells blood. A pair of chopping rights land clean. Down goes Eubank again. Second knockdown. The referee is about to wave it off when ding, the bell saves him. Final scores 119 to 107, 116 to 110, 118 to 108. Not even close. This wasn't a fight. This was a statement. The Benn family finally beat a Eubank. First time in 4 fights across 35 years. And now here's where it gets interesting. After a win like that, most fighters would be screaming for the trilogy, right? Rubber match. 1-1 going into fight 3. Think of the money. Think of the hype. Think of settling it once and for all. But Conor Benn said 4 words that shocked everyone. Just let it lie. In his own words, we've done what we had to do. We sold out a stadium twice. Let's just call it a day now. Money always talks in boxing, but Benn, he's thinking bigger. Here's what most people don't understand about legacy. Sometimes the smartest fight is the one you don't take. Think about it. The score is 1-1. If there's a trilogy and Benn loses, everything he just accomplished, avenging his father, delivering that dominant performance, those knockdowns, it all gets erased. The narrative becomes Eubank figured him out again. But if he walks away now, he's the guy who ended it. He's the one who put the period on a 35-year sentence. He's the destroyer who knocked down a 35-year-old former champion twice and had the discipline to say, I'm done here. That's not weakness. That's someone who knows exactly what he wants. And what does Benn want? The same thing his father had, the WBC Welterweight Championship. His target, Mario Barrios, the current WBC champion. And here's the beautiful part. Nigel Benn was a WBC champion back in his legendary career. Conor wants to do 2 things his dad never did. Beat the Eubanks and win the same belt. As he put it, getting the WBC title, it is the belt my dad won and a belt I would love to win. To be one up on my dad with the Eubank-Benn rivalry and also win the WBC world title, it would be some moment for me. He's not just fighting for wins anymore, he's fighting for history. But here's the challenge nobody's talking about. Benn hasn't made the 147-pound welterweight limit since 2022. He's been fighting at 150 and up. Now he wants to drop 13 pounds and challenge for a world title. His trainer Tony Sims believes in him. He's come from a complete novice into a world-level fighter. He jumped up 2 weights and beat a world-class fighter. Meanwhile, Chris Eubank Jr. is 36 years old. This was his 39th professional fight. He looks slow, sluggish, like a man who'd been through wars. Eddie Hearn, Benn's promoter, predicted before the fight that Eubank would retire, win or lose. After the fight, Eubank was non-committal, said he needs to go away and think. But here's the reality, where does he go from here? Fight dangerous middleweights like Janibek Alimkhanuly for a quarter of the money he made against Benn. Take on rising stars like Hamza Iraz, who would jump at the chance to add his name to their resume. The Eubank era might be over, and everyone except Chris Jr. seems to know it. So let's bring it all together. Conor Benn had every reason to want a trilogy. The money, the attention, the chance to definitively end it at 2 wins to 1, but instead he looked at the bigger picture. He squared the family rivalry at 1 win each. He delivered the most dominant performance of his career. He dropped Eubank twice and nearly got the stoppage. And then he walked away with his head held high, his father's approval, and his eyes on a world championship. That's not just smart boxing, that's life wisdom. Sometimes knowing when to walk away is more powerful than knowing when to fight. Conor Benn just taught us that lesson in front of 60,000 people. What do you think? Should Benn have taken the trilogy fight, or is walking away the ultimate power move? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I actually read them all and love hearing different perspectives. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of one of boxing's most dramatic rivalries, hit that subscribe button. We dive deep into the stories behind the fights, not just the punches. Because boxing isn't just about what happens in the ring, it's about the decisions fighters make outside of it.